very pleased to introduce Johannes Wirz. Please give him a big applause.
So, does it work?
Yeah.
Before I start, I would like to ask you to make a correction in the program. Although I have a PhD, I'm not a professor. So cross it out. But honestly, if you want to call me prof, I will be flattered. I am addicted to bees, like all of you. I am a scientist, like some of us. I'm a Goethean scientist, like few of us. And I am a student of the spiritual science of Rudolf Steiner, and I think there are very few of us the same. And so, what I would like to do in this couple of minutes, to show that all these different stages of, or different levels of my being, belong to a certain way of dealing with bees, and belong to certain levels of world connected to those. And so I would like to outline this. As you have heard, I have been a fly molecular geneticist, so I believe a fly is the most important insect. And as a scientist, I know that when we talk about something, there must be a world that is somehow behind. As a scientist, I cannot talk about things that do not exist and things where there is no experiences. You understand? So even if I say I will talk a little bit about spirituality, there must be a world behind. I would like to show that. And I start with the phenomenal world, the sense world. We all are sure that something is out there. Is anybody questioning this? I think this is clear. So the first level, and I would like not to talk in a very general way about these levels, but with bees. The first level we connect with the honeybee is this world of senses. And I go there, I go to my hives, I hear the bees, we have heard. I open the cover, I feel the warmth. I open my beeswax clothes, I smell the smell of the hive. I like to pull, I apologize, I like to pull combs, to touch the bees, to look at the brood nest, etc., etc., etc. So there are so very many impressions of this being, and if I say being, I realize that I'm looking at individual bees, that they must be somehow connected in a way I do not completely understand, and that they show me beauty, abundance, diligence, etc. So I would say this is the knowledge we all share when we are working with bees. Experiential knowledge, or we could say tacit knowledge. Because after a couple of years, you go there, you look at the entrance hole, and you know without thinking, are things right or not? You look at the brood nest, you know, is the colony healthy or not? You do not make deep calculations. So we have this phenomenal world that is connected to a certain way or certain type of knowledge. But then we can go further, and I think one of my favorite peers is Tom himself. We do not only look and gain experiential knowledge, but we start to think about it. Yeah? And here I must say something between the difference of the molecular geneticist I have been some 30 years ago, and the Goethean scientist I am still becoming. And in a certain way, those scientists depart from experience, depart from observation, without no science. But now, interestingly enough, at the university, where I started to copy-paste genes from one organism into another, I learned to understand life means to go down to its smallest levels of molecules. It was somehow shocking. And I can remember a textbook by Benjamin Lewin who said, in biology we do not ask what is life, but we ask how does life function. Yeah? This is a necessary, very important, very nice approach. And of course I share that with all the scientists I know. And I love to read, and I must read good science, and I've profited a lot from your articles and books. I did not like all the articles I've read on these, but this belongs to this second level. And if I call the first level the level of phenomena, I would like to call the second level the level of theory and ideas, where we start to think. And now, when I realized at university after 10 years that I'm working on the Hochschild of Drosophila, that I could not find answers to my questions. What is life? How does evolution work? I happened to meet the Goetheanum in Dornach. And at the Goetheanum, there is a natural science section, we call it, and this section has a research institute. And without giving you the lengthy story, I ended up there starting to do Goethean science. And interestingly enough, there we also we look at phenomena in a very different way, be it plants, be it animals, be it rocks, sometimes human skeleton. But in contrast of my academic career, where we would like to reduce complex organic systems to simple molecules. So it's, so to speak, and then believe that we can make a bottom-up approach and understand organisms. In Goethean science, the most important thing is somehow to grasp wholes. Yeah? And from the wholes, top down, go to the different levels, where all of a sudden you're not talking about causes or building blocks, but in a certain way, these are organs or substances, etc. And with these, I must tell you that it took me some 7 years to grasp a colony, this Goethean way of science. And the very day I could do that was shocking for me. I was standing there, I must tell you, I did beekeeping autodidactically, and I always say, never do such a bloody thing. Don't do it. It takes so long time, but it somehow belonged to me. And after 7 years, all of a sudden, I was standing there in spring. I had an inner view, image of the whole season of this colony. I could see how it is in spring, summer, fall, and winter. Of course, not in detail, but I had the impression, now I understand. And then, of course, when you hear that, you realize that now I'm addressing bee colony or bee to something where I see just a momentary picture that has a long integration of the season, maybe 2 or 3 seasons. So what I want to say very clearly in Goethean science, if we talk about theory and ideas, we know that there is something connected directly to sense observation, but the biggest part of this whole is not visible for our eyes. So a young plant with cotyledons is a rose, plant with flowers is the rose, plant with the fruit of the rose is a rose. And what I want to say, in Goethean science, we start to realize that our sense world, at least in the living realm, is always connected to something that is not perceptible to the senses. And I think the Goethean scientist shares his aspiration with the academic scientist, that when he tries to formulate laws, rules, etc., and he believes that these laws are correct, he also believes that nature is working according to these laws. So in a certain way, we take with our knowledge what is bringing into being, creating nature outside, we can see with our eyes. I hope that this is somewhat understandable. We can maybe discuss it in the discussion. And then I say this is the level of explicit knowledge. We have tacit knowledge with the phenomenon, where because we have so much experience, can really deal with the world, you know, explicitly on the second level. And now there is a third level. And I think, although it's difficult to explain in 5 minutes, I would like to do a few steps. I have learned it takes 10 years to become a good academic scientist. I have learned that it takes some 20 years to become a good Jungian scientist. And I know that to become a good spiritual scientist takes the whole life. And we have different methods. I don't want to go into this discussion. I just want to say the method to become a spiritual scientist is called meditation. Of course. And now the interesting thing is that this is a very special situation because at this moment we are not looking at phenomena out there or at ideas in here. But somehow I should say I, not one, I try to follow what phenomena and ideas are creating in my soul. So if I should put some other tags on these three levels, I would say phenomenal world is open eyes, open senses. This explicit knowledge world, theory, etc., is open mind. And on this level, where I try to observe my inner life, and of course not liver or stomach, but my inner experience, emotion, how do I think, how I come to such conclusions, is so to speak the level of open heart. And of course, but this must be trained and trained and trained. And I tell you, it is fun, although maybe the level of results is very modest. And if you do that, all of a sudden I can realize that at this moment it is not the colony out there and my ideas in here, but when I can reach this level, it is colony and me connected. Same level or maybe one within the other. It's a very interesting feeling. And then on this way, I have seen that all of a sudden the colony for me, or the bees for me, becomes, so to speak, masters of something I would call the future of human societies, of the future of social life. I read from the abundance of the colony that I can feel that we can learn to get into the same situation among us. And of course, in a time of scarcity, this would mean sharing solidarity. And I learn that bees do that all the time. They live in this world of abundance, even if they die, because there is not enough honey. So I want just try to explain what I can learn from the bees, and what I learn is an inner transformation, and not are my pockets big enough to pay fuel, and a euro or a euro cent. The second thing I have seen, if I look at the bees and try to figure out how is it possible that 25,000 bees are working together and every single bee know what to do. It's not should I feed the brood or forage outside. It is very clear, so they know what they can. And never ever one bee is controlling the other, so there is trust. And if in emergency cases work is needed, forager bees indeed will become feeder bees. It's so amazing, this knowing what I can, trust that all the others also know what they can and they do. And the third thing, being ready and flexible enough to take a position that does not exactly suit to my training, to my education, to my experience. So the second thing I connect with these bees in this level. And the last thing I would like to say is Tom Seal has shown this in great detail. If I start to reflect and meditate on how bees make their decisions, finding a new home, I really feel, as you have written very nicely, this is maybe the path to grow in our decision-making, societal and social decision-making processes. Yeah? And so on this level, now, in short words, I want to say that all of a sudden, we are really brothers and sisters, bees and man. And so I would like to end that. I hope that you have seen that if I talk as a scientist from these levels, I believe, and I know to a certain extent, that the world behind the phenomena on these levels exists. So it is an experiential way. And the last thing I would like to say, if we go this way, I come to a conclusion that I say, I see the phenomena that are so magic. I have all this knowledge about bee biology that is so wonderful, and I come to the point where I realize I must share with bees my respect, my non-violence. This would be another, I have forgotten to talk about that, and my love. And so this is the way towards learning from bees.